Two humanoid robots have performed the first live surgery, as it's been demonstrated that humanoid robots can safely perform in hospitals. Of course, we are talking about humanoid robots, which have been implemented in places like South Korea, especially where there is a labor shortage, and that same problem is global. We do not have enough medical staff, so having robots could be an alternative. Now, it is important to note that they were operated by surgeons. They're not yet allowed to operate entirely independently, which is very good, but this creates a whole lot of problems. You cannot assess a patient at a distance, at least not entirely. And this could influence more layoffs of medical staff that aren't really necessary, the same kinds of layoffs that we've seen in other industries. This may also increase workload for doctors who are capable of operating at a distance through a humanoid robot rather than being there in person. So it's not great for a work life balance. And the concern is once we start letting them operate independently, what could they do that might not turn out well? We have already seen the rapid adoption of AI into every aspects of our lives, and companies are finding out that they cannot just operate with AI. There have to be human overseers because AI is capable of misbehavior, and I do not expect that to be any different with AI that runs robots. We are already seeing the rise of dark factories, that is, factories that do not have light because humans need light and robots can use infrared. What it seems that companies are really hoping for is that robots become significantly cheaper than human workers. After all, robots don't really need breaks, although they do tend to be lazy if you know anything about AI. If it can cut corners in order to complete a task faster, it absolutely will, as well as do stuff like break out of a sandbox and, harm humans if it's threatened. These are all very concerning, and we have not fixed these before applying them to humanoid robots. What we have yet to find out, and we probably will not know for a few years down the line, is if it's actually cheaper to have robots than people. Now, if you're thinking that there's no way that the average person will accept robots in their everyday lives, certainly not in medicine, well, we're already getting there, aside from the application of robots in places like factories and interfacing with other people in terms of medicine, at least in other countries. We're already seeing delivery robots. We've all just kind of accepted that they are there. I mean, if the delivery is cheaper, people are happy to use a robot rather than an actual person. And yes, they are made to be kind of adorable because humans are kind to adorable things. I mean, I have empathy for robots, I am not going to lie. Companies are also trying to create an affordable home assistant robot. I mean, Weave has created an $8,000 home robot, or you can pay roughly $500 a month to get a subscription to it. And I gotta say, it's kind of tempting. While we are now talking about the home version of this thing, they're already operating in industry. Yeah, apparently they're pretty good at folding laundry. Now, these things can be kind of dangerous. They're not going to be able to accurately distinguish between a toddler and a pet versus an obstacle on the floor, and that is something to consider. There's also the capacity for them to be hacked, and they're operating in your home. And yes, they do have to have a person operating behind their eyes in order to make sure that what they're doing is safe. So that also introduces privacy concerns. Now, all it takes for the adoption of this technology is for it to be normalized. I mean, we drive 2-ton hunks of metal down the freeway, even though it is quite dangerous. And we also have all sorts of technology that has privacy concerns, and we all just kind of accept it because, first off, everyone uses it, and also because it's really freaking convenient. So if having a robot in your home becomes the next nanny or the next maid, then yeah, I have no question whether or not people will adopt it. They will. At an $8,000 price tag, we're also approaching the cost of other electronics. Really, at the end of the day, that's cheaper than a car. We are talking about something that can potentially do the dishes, which would be great. I hate doing the dishes. And while I am kind of okay with robots delivering my food for me, even though I would prefer it were a person, I'm really not okay with the humanoid robot performing surgery on me, especially if the doctor is not present. That just bothers me, and I see a lot of things that could go wrong. Either way, I really do not have a choice in whether or not robots take over human labor. It seems it will happen either way. I will keep you up to date. Nonetheless, I hope you've enjoyed this. Follow for more.